Warning: the following program contains vivid descriptions of extreme violence, frequent strong language, sexual references, and period-typical racism and misogyny. Viewer discretion advised. What you are about to hear is an account of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history. The day after Paul Aaron ate a chunk of his own thigh, the man in black arrived. He came from the desert on foot, headed west. 4 guns were visible on his person, 2 Colt pistols on either hip, a third strapped across his middle, and a snub-nosed .38 above his tailbone. The gunslinger made his way down Main Street, stopping first at the 3-story hotel. A red-haired concierge greeted him at the welcome desk. "Room for 1, said the gunslinger. "How many nights?" "Just 1. She offered him a log, where he signed his name. "Anywhere to eat around here?" "Quattro Tacos just down the street." "Good?" "Best damn tacos I've ever had." "When's check-in?" "Room should be set up in about an hour." "Obliged." The concierge batted her lashes. "Anything else I can do for you?" The gunslinger was mildly amused at best. "Not at the moment, no." "Let me know if that changes." "Sure." The gunslinger exited the hotel. He looked up and down the street. Quattro Tacos sat diagonally left as he stood facing out from the hotel's front door. He crossed the dusty road and entered the cantina. Inside, it was lively. Customers sat enjoying their breakfast. The busboy, Donnie, collected used dishes to scrub. 70s pop played in the kitchen, accompanied by the sizzling of the grill. The gunslinger chose a booth in the center left of the room, sat with his back against the wall. Paul approached him presently with a cup and fresh pot of coffee. "Welcome to Quattro Taco. Coffee?" "Yeah." The gunslinger studied the menu while Paul poured. It was impossibly simple, featuring only 3 options: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was about 9 in the morning. "Suppose I'll go with the breakfast." 4 breakfast tacos coming up." 4? It's called Quattro Taco for a reason. With this, Paul left to place the order to Luca in the kitchen. The gunslinger stared blankly at the wall opposite him, sipping coffee. Suddenly, there came the barely audible click of a gun. The man in black heard this quite clearly over the cantina's natural ambience and reacted at once. He noticed 2 men stood near the register. Young Donnie was behind the register with a frightened expression. He began removing cash from the register. The gunslinger looked outside and saw a 3rd man standing on the sidewalk by the front door, a lookout. At the curb was a running car with a 4th man behind the wheel. The gunslinger casually reached below the table and cocked the gun in his middle holster, without drawing it. When the thieves at the register made to leave, the gunslinger said, "Excuse me." They stopped, flabbergasted. "You want our wallets?" The thieves shared a glance. "What?" the first asked. The gunslinger gestured. "Well, this is a small place. Can't have been much cash in that register. So I was just wondering if you wanted our wallets, too." The patron nearest the gunslinger glared. In return, he winked. The first thief aimed his gun in a general way at the peculiar man in black. "Yeah, I do want your wallets." The gunslinger nodded. "That's what I figured. Now, I'm going to reach for my wallet, and I just want to make clear that I don't want any trouble. I am going for my wallet, not my gun." "You got a gun?" "Well, yeah." The thief aimed more deliberately. "I think you better give me your gun." "Okay." With 2 fingers, the gunslinger reached under the table and pulled the pistol from his right holster. He placed it on the table. The thief lunged, grabbed it, stepped back. "Now, give me your wallet." "Sure." Under the table, the gunslinger drew his primed pistol and shot the thief in the kneecap. The thief howled in agony, unloading wildly. The gunslinger ducked under his table until the thief's weapon was empty, then with lightning speed, rose back up and shot his opponent between the eyes. The lookout burst through the front door. The gunslinger immediately shot him in the head. At the register, Donnie engaged with the second thief, their arms locked together as Donnie tried to keep the crook from aiming his gun. The gunslinger pointed his pistol at them, unable to get a clear shot. "Hey kid," he called. Donnie glanced. The gunslinger gestured impatiently. "Move." Using all his strength, Donnie steered himself and the second thief in a half circle, giving the man in black a clear shot. The second thief was dropped in an instant, leaving Donnie's face painted with blood droplets. The truck outside peeled away from the curb. The gunslinger stood, plucked a taco off the plate of the patron who glared, and walked outside. The truck careened wildly down the street. The gunslinger aimed carefully, fired, and watched as the truck steered too far to the right, crashing into another parked vehicle. The man in black walked easily toward the wreck, eating as he went. The driver spilled out of the truck, landing in a sitting position. One hand clutched his wounded neck. The gunslinger stopped mere feet away. The driver looked longingly at the truck's open door, where was stored a gun. The man in black said, "Now I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, I kept count, so I'll tell you. He fired 5. The fearful driver reacted too late to this news. Just before his free hand grasped the gun in the truck door, the 6th and final shot from the gunslinger's pistol struck his forehead. The gunslinger clicked his teeth. Upon returning to Quattro Taco, he found Paul and the cantina crew were just regaining control of the panicked customers. Yet control was lost all over again when 2 men burst through the front door, guns drawn. The gunslinger was kept from killing them by Donnie's hand. "Wait, wait, wait!" Paul groaned as the customers all panicked again. "Sheriff, for fuck's sake!" Sheriff Jasper Lund pointed at the gunslinger. "There he is!" Both officers rushed at the gunslinger, who continued attempting to raise his gun despite Donnie's protests. "You're under arrest for armed robbery and murder," said Deputy Horace Grimm. "No, he's not," Donnie cried. "Officers," Luca groaned, "this man just stopped the armed robbery." The crew gestured at the bodies decorating the floor. The man who had acted as lookout stirred. The bullet had grazed his temple, stunning but not killing him. Sheriff Lund regarded the gunslinger. "That true?" "Just doing my civic duty." Lund noted the wound in the head of the nearest dead man. "Pretty exceptional aim. Where are you from, stranger?" "Texas." "What part of Texas?" Deputy Grimm asked. "Little place you never heard of." "I was born in Fort Hood. Ever been?" "Course I have." "What brings you here?" "Nothing. I'm not staying long." Lund holstered his gun. "Well, with all the witnesses, I suppose it's reasonable to assume you're okay." Grimm said, "Reasonable enough," and also holstered his gun. Only then did the man in black follow suit. "I suppose you've got an open carry license for those?" Lund asked. "You don't need an open carry license in this state." Lund nudged his deputy, whispering, "That true?" "No idea," Grimm whispered back. Lund cleared his throat. "Just see that you don't use them for the rest of your stay here." "Not unless you got more bad guys hiding around here somewhere." "Hey," Grimm barked, "we keep this town safe enough." "Sure." Lund tugged his deputy's arm. "Come on, let's go." To the crew, he said, "See you men at lunchtime." The officers hauled the still-living thief off the floor to be taken into custody. "Doc will be by for the bodies soon." "No rush," Paul said, a little too quickly. This prompted Luca to glance at him. Paul ignored this in favor of addressing the gunslinger. "Guess your breakfast is on the house." "Not necessary." "Killing 3 men and wounding a 4th? Hell of a way to start the morning." "Not for me, really." So the gunslinger ate his meal, watched the town doctor and coroner retrieve the bodies, left a tip, and exited. No sooner did he make it off Quattro Taco's patio was he stopped by a gun held flush to his temple. Ah, shitfire. Turn around, a gravelly voice ordered. The man in black did so. Wow, Scratch, is that you? You look like shit. Scratch, so called for the scar below his eye, was backed by a cruel-looking one-eyed man. Feel like it. Chasing a man across the desert will do that to you. And here I thought I'd left of my own accord. Turns out I've been running from you this whole time. The gunslinger nodded at the one-eyed man. Patch? Scratch rubbed habitually at his scar. Miffed? The gunslinger shrugged. I don't usually run, is all. And now you can't. I don't owe you anything. You didn't hold up your end of the bargain. You owe me everything. You overestimated what I could offer. Buyer beware. Did you ever hear the one about Johnny and the fiddle? The gunslinger indicated himself. Johnny? Then tapped the handle of his gun. Fiddle. Scratch glowered. Goddamn story's not based in fact. Neither are we, yet here we stand. So are you going to do it now? Or do you want to try and beat me fair and square at high noon? You Davidson boys are a plague. High noon. Don't try to go anywhere. Carter Davidson pointed at Quattro Taco. I'll be right there. And there he waited until the clock on the town courthouse chimed 12. Main Street was quiet. A tumbleweed blew by. Carter exited Quattro Taco for the third time that day, now followed by the crew. The cantina's patrons watched curiously from inside. 4 men made their way down the road. Scratch, Patch, a man Carter had never met, and the lookout from that morning. Hell only knew what Scratch might have said or done to enlist his help. Ever drawn against 4 guys before? Donnie asked. Nope. Carter stepped off the patio into the street. Scratch stopped in front and to the right of him. Patch and the former lookout walked around Carter. Patch stopping in front and to the left, mirroring Scratch. The other 2 men took Carter's immediate left and right, respectively. All their hands hovered next to their holstered pistols. You knew this was coming, Carter, Scratch said. That's true. No regrets? Just one. And it ain't any of your goddamn business. It's about to be. At your leisure. Carter studied each of his opponents in turn, the unknown man on his right, then Scratch, then Patch, then the former lookout on his left. His eyes flicked down to the would-be thief's gun hand. It trembled. Something indecipherable passed over Carter's face. He took a second look around, this time in reverse order. Finally, he stared straight ahead, looking at none of them. He smiled slightly, as if fondly recalling a memory. On the patio, Donnie said, "He's a dead man." What happened next lives in legend. Carter Davidson drew his primary Colts simultaneously, shooting Scratch and Patch. As he did this, he stepped boldly backward, so that the thief's shaking aim sent a bullet whizzing past Carter into the unknown man. Carter then finished off the thief for good. The other 3 men still stood. Only Patch managed to fire, striking Carter's left shoulder. Carter fought through the pain and shot each remaining villain a second time. Even on the ground, Patch managed to roll about, so Carter shot him thrice. For the first, but not the last, moment in their time with the gunslinger, the Quattro Taco crew stood shocked. Carter twirled his pistols before holstering them. He lit a victory cigarette. Almost inhuman, Scratch's voice came to him. Carter. Carter tentatively approached Scratch's body, relaxing when he saw the poor devil was choking on a mouthful of his own blood. You fucking punk. Carter took a drag from his cigarette, unfazed by the hatred in his wasted enemy's black eyes. Scratch saw there was nothing for it but to beg. Okay, wait. Spare me. I can do so much for you, you know that. Carter feigned consideration, just for fun, before saying, Sorry, I promised my granddaddy I'd kill you. I ain't ever broken a promise to him yet. He shot Scratch in the head, clicked his teeth, and sauntered back up to Quattro Taco's patio, still smoking. Thought you'd never drawn against 4 guys before, Donnie asked. Hadn't. Drew against 3 guys and a girl once, though. Carter patted Donnie's shoulder and left him mildly amazed. Luca extracted the bullet from Carter's shoulder with what medical tools there were in the cantina's back room. He then stitched up the wound, all while Paul watched. Don't mind my asking, Paul said. How is it a man gets that good with a gun? He starts practicing at the age of 5. What are you going to do now, skip town? Nah, that sheriff don't strike me as anyone to worry about. He's not, Luca said. But you're not staying here either, Paul asked. No plans to. Why? No reason. Luca finished patching Carter up. The gunslinger was not big on formality and left with a brief thanks and suggestion that he might stop by for breakfast in the morning on his way out of town. He then returned to the hotel. Paul and Luca remained in the dim back room for a while. I've always felt we could use a host, Paul said. That's not a host, that's a guard. Maybe we need that too. Town's getting rougher all the time. Luca hummed. You don't like him, Paul guessed. Remember that guy who got it in the neck the day before we came home for good? Pete Sarcophagus. Luca snapped his fingers. Yeah, that's what we called him. Anyway, remember what you said to me about him? No. You said nobody gets that good at shooting unless they're one of the slimiest guys walking around. How's this cowboy any different? He's not. I never said we would trust him. Then why hire him? Why'd we hire the kid? I'm trying to expand my fucking business, Luca. I know. Luca somehow grew even more serious. By the way, what do you ever do with that poor fuck's body? What didn't I do with it? This joke failed to entertain. Paul amended. Nothing. I disposed of the body respectfully. No, you know. No, Paul said firmly. Like a proud sibling, Luca nodded. Glad to hear it. Told you you'd get better.